Hi guys, this is another video on comparative analysis relating to two YouTube videos. I've chosen to go ahead and show you or read through this example because it did meet the A to A+ standard of analysis, and this is for a number of reasons. You may want to watch the other videos which are very similar to this, both in terms of color coding, but also have a few additional notes on the side. I won't be doing that for this video, but we'll be discussing why this comparative stood out amongst many of the fantastic analysis undertaken last year. First and foremost, the student has perfectly formatted their assignment, so that's already a big win, whereby they have acknowledged text 1 and text 2. But based on text 1 being green and then text 2 being yellow, I'll also be using the magenta for comparing difference, connectives, and noting similarity. What I want to acknowledge is that the first text was best choc chip cookies, easy and healthy Sezzy recipe, which as even noted by the title, gluten-free, dairy-free, soy-free, cane sugar-free, in some instances may have been taste-free, but that doesn't really matter. But it's from the channel of Sarah Day, who is a relatively well-known mummy vlogger, who in this instance, around the context of the time in which it was published, was I think 6 to 7 months pregnant, and really wanted to address the audience of a food vlogger, but more specifically target audience of a mummy vlogger with those who are soon to give birth or currently pregnant. So that added another element of analysis that this student, based on their text type choice, was able to show insightful analysis. Text 2, the yellow highlighted, is how to make mediocre vegan cookies, and already based on the title alone we can see that there's a joke or satire involved in terms of the DIY cooking channel, because mediocre means subpar or in the middle or not great, but also the play on vegan cookies, which contextually is once again still very popular in terms of their clean eating or vegan eating. Your opinions are your own, but what makes this significant is that it's from Emma Chamberlain, who, although I do not follow and am not her target audience, I'm very much aware does quite well in targeting her teenage audience. So this text 2 is polar opposite, or a big difference to text 1, in that they're both baking cookies, but this one is clearly a mock video where she uses a number of different techniques to vlog about her failure rather than intended success. I would show you parts of these videos, but in fear that my video might be taken down due to copyright, you can certainly access the links and have a watch. But based on what a moderator would be expected to know, or rather read, they would be expected to know contextually what the task is asking you to achieve or do, which is compare two videos and talk about it based on context, purpose, and audience, making sure to include a range of language and visual techniques or examples. That's where the form and language will come into play. But apart from that, they should be able to understand what these videos do or achieve in terms of targeting their audience, their context, and their purpose based on what is written, because they will not go ahead and watch these videos. That's too much time for them. So let's go ahead. So once again, context: if you're unsure, look up the video, read through the questions. Remembering that if you're addressing 3 paragraphs in close to 1,000 words, you're roughly looking for 300-word body paragraphs that are comparison, that would note both similarity and difference. So let's have a look. Sarah, otherwise known as Sarah's Day, which is already context about the channel itself, which is always good to know. Sarah Stevenson's best choc chip cookies, easy and healthy Sezzy recipe, GFDF, soy-free, cane sugar-free, and Emma Chamberlain's how to make mediocre vegan cookies are both instructional tutorials on how to make cookies. Now, this is a pretty basic introductory but efficient topic sentence or introduction on the context, which notes the similarity, both instructionals on how to make cookies. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight that in light blue just to note the difference. I can easily then, just to be a pain and color code away, note that, well, that is text 1 that they're addressing formally in its full voice or title, and then text 2 in yellow. With the exponential growth of YouTube, the contemporary platform, which helps to allude to that it's a modern platform or a current platform, has given rise to both parodic and tutorial styles of video. So to parody something, the student is acknowledging here that many videos on YouTube are making fun of, through mimicking but also satire, the very popular videos on YouTube. So parodic and tutorial styles of videos. The vlogging, video blogging style of communicating allows for a more personal interaction between the creator and their audience. This is once again, although generalizing, still great contextual information where the student is acknowledging the type of media that YouTube is, the time and place in which it exists, vlogging as a contemporary idea of video vlogging, but also the idea that it directly draws to a specific interaction between audience and its user. Set to the backdrop of her modern kitchen, Sarah's friendly demeanor and instructions suggests a convenient, personal, and accessible recipe. So that is the first example for text 1, which is green. Set to the backdrop of a modern kitchen, we can note then that that is setting. Okay, so an example of just the visual element of where the video is filmed. Sarah's friendly demeanor and instructions suggest a convenient, personal, and accessible recipe. So the student has built upon the setting, but also the characterization in tone and inflection of the vlogger by suggesting that through this, the viewer may be led to believe that both her cookies are convenient, so easy to make, personal, which is always a key target for any food vlogger, and accessible, meaning easy to achieve. However, so if we think about the comparative language and we look to the Comparative Language 2020 Word document, you'll see that there's a list of suggestions, both to incorporate examples, draw conclusions, but compare difference and noting similarity. Many of you should hopefully have experienced this last year through the intertextual study where you had to compare two texts. You're looking to achieve the same here, just based on different text types. So if it's noting similarity, it'd be light blue. Comparing difference would be magenta. So I'm going to go ahead and just color code this magenta. However, Emma uses her apartment-based kitchenette and intentional inadequacies in following a simple recipe to entertain her followers using self-depreciating humor. So once again, there's been a nice comparison for text 2, which is of difference, which still acknowledges the difference of setting, but also the lack of professionalism or the intentional inadequacies, which Emma does quite well by showing her fumbling around or using the wrong equipment. Following a simple recipe to entertain her followers using self-depreciating humor. So this is once again a technique that the student was able to understand based on the character of the vlogger, whereby very much like Conan O'Brien or a lot of late night hosts, they're happy to gain followers and find humor in making fun of themselves, not others. Due to the vast variety of YouTube cooking tutorials, both presenters, so we can already say that this statement is going to be noting similarity to at least introduce, which is actually similar to this because they're both noting a personal interaction of the creator. Both presenters have created a point of difference to gain loyal subscribers and a source of income. What I quite like about this idea, or rather this statement right here, is that they're noting another key analysis or element of YouTube as a media, regardless of them both being cooking tutorials, by stating that their both intentional goals are to gain loyal subscribers and as a source of income. Now, for some of you, you might be able to acknowledge that when a video has advertisements in between or a paid partnership context, we know that they are making money or monetizing off of it, which both of these do. However, some videos do not, which is purely a source of entertainment. So you would need to be able to address that, but every video should be able to have that in some form or another. Both videos. Okay, so both videos reflect the current healthy eating vegan trend, with Sarah saying that vegan, cane sugar-free, gluten-free, dairy-free is her style. And I'm going to put that in as green because they although it's addressing both, that is a specific example to Sarah, text 1. We can see that the student is embedding direct dialogue or list that is used to enhance the experience, or rather the draw, and using her personal voice of directly what she says style. While. So we know that this is either going to be similarity or difference, and while is suggesting difference, so pink, while Emma sarcastically states that she is keen to make some fun, loving, healthy vegan cookies. Now, without the acknowledgement of how it is said, the moderator or even the example would not hold. However, because she says sarcastically, we know that she is mocking the idea of it being fun, loving, healthy vegan cookies. Both creators use anecdotes from their life to give some context as to why they're making the cookie. So once again, the context video would be really useful in terms of understanding this. But as a moderator already should, we know that context relates to the historical, social, and cultural, which in this instance, the student is about to acknowledge how the upbringing or their own personal lives of the vloggers, as it is video vlogging or live vlogging, is going to inform why they are making this. We can say, though, that this is a statement that is noting similarity, addressing the specific technique of anecdotes. And the student is then once again starting with text 1, which is Sarah, which I'll read in a moment, of Sarah uses the social context of making cookies as a healthy treat for a family trip. Now, once again, remember that this is embedding quotes fluently. It's not saying that she says this by saying that she directly states it, but they are quoting, which is a nice way to embed without saying the vlogger says this, the vlogger quoted that. And current trend of mindful eating as she tries not to eat unhealthy snacks. So the student is very much aware of the context of mindful eating. Alternatively, so we know that this is going to be another contrast. Emma, although drawing upon the vegan trend, uses the instructional medium and baking as a form of stress release to help turn her mediocre day around. And that would be text 2. But once again, evidence is used from what is said, not rather the student describing what is shown or what the vlogger says. Neither video purposely tries to exclude a particular group. So that's a similarity, saying that they're happy for anyone to watch. However, and this is where the generalizations aren't addressed, which is good, because the specific is saying Sarah's video is better suited to the stereotypical domestic mother. Maybe a bit of a slight against mothers there. While Emma's pink. Emma uses self-depreciating DIY of failed baking reels to connect with teens. And I would suggest that she says teenagers. I know that it may seem blatantly sexist, but there's also the context surrounding if Emma Chamberlain is a young teenage girl, that her what she vlogs about overall contextually is probably going to appeal more to, well, young female teenagers. But unless a chance is given in audience specifically to address this and why, I guess it's not directly stated. My dog's about to bark. Albie, darling, go outside. Go outside. Albie. Balk, balk, balk. Hang on, I'm going to go give him a treat. Let's have a look. Oops. All right. Now, recorder is recording. Okay, I'm back, but Albie is still barking outside. Okay. Well, and look, that's another element of actually YouTube vlogging, I guess, the realism of it. So that might actually be a nice little thing to be mindful of if anything appears or happens, which suggests that it's drawing upon the live feature of vlogging. But back at it, uses self-depreciating DIY of failed baking, reveals to connect with teens. Ultimately, both presenters utilize, so we know that this is a summary, So I'm just actually going to pop that in purple just because it's a nice little linking connective, which we can find drawing conclusions. Ooh. And ultimately is not there, but I can add that later. Well done, me. Both presenters utilize a range of features to establish a brand that conveys a specific message. So look, that is a bit of a broad linking sentence. I would like it to be a little bit specific as to say one is selling themselves as a healthy mum while the other one is a self-depreciating teen. Easy as that. Boom. Now, purpose. Remembering that there's another video on purpose. Okay. But once again, we have a similarity opening topic sentence. So while both channels are about making healthy chocolate chip cookies, their intended purposes vary. Sarah's video aims to educate her viewers on healthy baking alternatives and general healthy life hacks. Whereas, so we can see in the one sentence, because that's difference. Albie's really having a go at that bird out there. Never gets them, surprisingly. Okay. We have Emma, a novice baker, presents more satirical content for entertainment purposes. As there is evidence of monetization, mainly through YouTube advertisements, a purpose both videos share is to make money. So that is a general statement. They may have wanted to acknowledge how both actually have paid content or ads that appear within them or before them, to be even more specific. A great example would then be heightened if within the word count, which the student actually did have, would to acknowledge what advertisements actually appeared during it. So this means that certain advertisements pair well thanks to the algorithm. So if it's about a healthy mum, there might be some advertisements about muesli bars before or yoga mats. So that would actually be next level insight in terms of understanding both the context and purpose of the video that you're watching, as there is evidence for monetization. Emma's self-promotion telling viewers, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, comment down below anything you want, is expected by her teen audience and allows her to gain popularity. Now, you would have noticed that this is text 2. They're still embedding, there's still a direct reference as to who her teen audience are. If there was any specifics as to what she says that might be colloquial language relating to teens, that would be even better. Likewise, so is this going to be similarity or difference? That's right, similarity. Sarah's strategic sub-heart, or love, and link to her latest video on her end slate. So the student is using the specific language that appears in terms of terminology for YouTube. So we have, where is it? Outline of film techniques, YouTube specific terminology, language and visual techniques. So they've actually read the resources, go them. End slate compels the audience to discover more of a content while maintaining credibility. What I think is interesting here is that this is text 1. The student has reversed the analysis. It's not ideal. I think in terms of moderation, which this did go to or was sent off to, it wouldn't be picked up. But if you're going to be a stickler and make sure that text 1, text 2, text 1, text 2, making sure that you use the best examples. Emma's end slate, however, so this is text 2, but they're going to acknowledge difference, however, is an unapologetic list of all her different social media platforms to encourage popularity across all sites. So this is noting the specific difference as to their purpose as to gain followers. Sarah is simply using her YouTube channel with the sub and like. Meanwhile, Emma, being a multi-platform entertainer or vlogger or social media influencer, however you wish to describe it, clearly has Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and whatever else available. Only Sarah's videos use cross-promotion, so there is a specific difference which they've then expanded upon relating to cross-promotions, for instance. So where necessary, the student has then used introductory connectives to acknowledge that an example is being used, incorporating example. For instance, Sarah promotes Loving Earth's Yacon syrup as her secret weapon by explaining its nutritional benefits and sharing a pop-up code to help viewers save money on the product. That is a specific example of purpose and cross-promotion, which uses a direct piece of evidence, such as the secret weapon, which helps to imply that it's special or unique or going to help anyone in the kitchen, and of course the pop-up code. Sarah also utilizes Vance Packard's hidden persuader, reassurance of worth, as she sells the idea that to be a successful mother, you need to eat healthy for your baby, therefore fostering her audience's feelings of worth and esteem if they follow her methods. Now, this is quite a bit of information or example, which is allowed, but we're still seeing comparison of back and forth within the paragraph because the student wanted to use the best examples. She has also once again extended her analysis or ideas by addressing the hidden, oops, that's going to open up everything. Not working, but it should work for you as gone through the video, but the hidden persuaders in Vance Packard, where she's addressed that. Okay. Both creators, I know that this is going to be a general similarity, use various cinematography styles to help provoke specific emotions within the audience. Look, I don't like that because it's broad, but maybe that's the purpose that it's meant to serve, but we're then hoping to see specific examples. Sarah's opening montage, which is a specific definition of a series of shots at the start, as we know it's the opening, of finished cookies and varying camera angles highlighting her process, portray a professional and calm outcome. So we see the end result before she makes it. And thanks to having undertaken many instructional videos last year, this is hopefully going to convey, that's green, the purpose of this. To see the success or achievement before it is attained by the viewer gives them further motivation. I'm sure that's another hidden persuader or Maslow of hierarchy of needs. Emma, however, so what's the however going to suggest? That's right, comparison of difference. Uses quick edits and sudden zooms following the current meme cinematography trend, resulting in discomfort amongst the viewers. So that is not as specific as it should be, because the meme cinematography is relating to those extreme close-ups or frozen images that relate to a meme or a moment becoming a meme that is paused. So some explanation would have been nice relating to that, but once again, she has addressed the technique. The moderator may not know it. It's highly unlikely if they're very much aware of this, but you cannot spend or should not then describe every technique. That's not the purpose of the task. The professionalism of Sarah's video contrasted with the steady zoom of Emma. So they're drawing another comparison. Contrasted. They're not saying however, but the statement is going to note difference. With the steady zoom of Emma using her hands as a hand mixer helps to clearly portray the intended purposes of the instructional satirical content. So that's a nice direct difference. Subsequently, both presenters use a range of cinematic techniques and marketing ploys to portray their intended purpose. So I would say that they could heighten that by saying what their intended purpose is: to sell their channel for further recipes, or to have more subscribers across platforms. Audience. Okay, we're on the home stretch. I wonder how many of you are still listening or watching this video. Hit like and subscribe if you get the chance. As each channel has a different target audience, both content creators use different YouTube techniques to connect with them. I would say to create a personal connection, to target them, to engage with them. Sarah targets anyone who wants to eat healthier, particularly soon-to-be mums. Whereas, difference, Emma draws in teens viewers who are after some comedic relief. It may be that they're wanting to, once again, be involved in her day-to-day life of cooking, makeup, based on what the channel actually promotes. As Sarah often showcases her ideal healthy lifestyle and is currently 36 weeks pregnant, so there's some nice context about the presenter. And Emma is a humorous 17-year-old, maybe vlogging about her life. They are both members of a particular target audience. This makes it easier for viewers to relate to the creators and find their content more appealing. So that's a nice generalization, but a combined statement. Despite both productions being an instructional video on how to make cookies, the audience would be interested in them for varying reasons. That's true. They've actually said this already or covered that, so they could easily shorten this. But once again, they're back to example. Sarah's intended audience are after useful cooking and health advice. For instance, so I'm just green, but once again, we can see that a statement has been made. The connective is given for introducing her dramatic explanation of why she's eating 6 dates a day. Good for her. Suggests that the video may be useful for pregnant women for tips to shorten labor time and increase oxytocin levels. So these are, once again, specific examples from Sarah. Labor, we're in Australia. Huzzah. Yes, yep. But once again, specific to her audience based on the terminology that she's using relating to pregnancy, or rather, yes, pregnancy. Birth is when they give birth. Pregnancy is the events leading up to it. Emma, however, noting similarity or difference? Difference. Is an inexperienced baker who has never made this recipe before, indicating her audience is watching her for the reaction rather than seek advice. So it's that first time idea, or, you know, when the big popular thing on YouTube was reaction videos. We would hopefully understand or be led to believe that Sarah she might have, and this would have been a great example if she had said it, which I'm sure she did, where Sarah goes, my kids love these cookies, or which would imply that she knows that the recipe is tried and tested, alternatively to Emma's, who is trying it for the first time. This is expressed through her rhetorical question, so a great bit of technique there, which, once again, shout out to the list of language and visual techniques, outline of film techniques, YouTube, but also persuasive, because a rhetorical is a question that where we should already know the answer. Rhetorical question of, can someone please explain to me why this, pointing to the cookie batter, looks like chicken? I thought these were supposed to be vegan. So it's clearly using a joke as well. So a confusion. What the student has been able to do with the squared closed hyphens or parentheses is add additional detail within the quote, because the moderator can't see this, but once again, it's another insinuation, or direct reference to what is appearing on screen without saying, while pointing to the cookie batter, which highlights both her inability and lack of vegan knowledge. I would say that it's, addressing the humor more to show her inadequacies. Hey, Albie. Both presenters utilize popular chefs that their target audience would know to create some insight of their personality and add humor. So generalization, but is this celebrity endorsement or cross promotion? Sarah directly asks the viewers if anyone used to watch the famous sexual chef Nigella Lawson. After an inserted clip of Nigella for reference, Sarah expresses how she used to want to be Nigella, but the healthy version. Ouch, against Nigella. But once again, it's drawing upon that illusion or context of knowing other bakers or chefs, and starts to mimic her as if she was like, and starts to mimic her as if like she was on her own cooking show. So that just goes to show not exactly the best grammar or punctuation there, but still an example. Similarly, and if you've just noticed like I had, this should be green because it was Sarah, so I'm sure you all picked up on that. Similarly, while Emma was intimately chopping up her chocolate, she was feeling some Gordon Ramsay vibes. A consecutive inserted image of the famous chef's face over hers created some entertainment value. So once again, the example is now referencing both the celebrity or the additional reference, but also how it is visually shown. Once again, relating to the meme of, or just Snapchat culture of putting a face over your own. So that would be yellow. While both creators have vastly different intended audiences, there are some techniques used by both to connect with their prospective viewers. Once again, not too excited by that, but it is a nice summary. And interestingly enough, even now with 987 words, I would be suggesting to the student to try and expand upon their linking sentences, because I don't think 20 words or less than 20 words would allow for multiple examples. So that would be my feedback even after this final assignment. But as you can see, even just based on color code alone, the similarities are noted through the general but short statements about the overall intention or understandings of context, purpose, audience. And there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, give or take, 1, 2, 3, 4, give or take, 1, 2, 2, but at least there's 2 similarities as well within each paragraph. That is where examples are being given. They're not taking up the entire paragraph's word content, and a similarity and difference is being drawn. Okay, this has been a very long video. I'm about to pause it to see how long it is. The first student that watches till the very end and sees me and says, "Kinder Surprise, please," I will honor that Kinder Surprise. That's my like and subscribe, or way to, once again, very meta reference that if this is a YouTube video, how many of you have lasted until the very end? Because if I was getting paid for this, it would be certainly long enough for at least a few adverts. Okay, thank you.